Welcome to the Crimson Engine. My name is 𝙍𝙁𝙗𝙄𝙇, and today we're talking about avoiding burnout as a filmmaker. And the 6 strategies that I've used have a 25-year, pretty successful, relatively stress-free career. I'm not going to go into what burnout is, why it's bad, everybody knows that. I would just want to say that filmmaking is the best job in the world, in my opinion. And if you're not enjoying it, why are you doing it? So here are some strategies to help you enjoy it more and help it suck less. My number 1 tip for avoiding burnout in filmmaking is to have realistic goals. If you're pushing too hard and you're expecting too much, you will get stressed. If you're trying to do more than you're able to do, yes, you're growing, but you're also wearing yourself down. And it's only a matter of time until your work suffers, your health suffers, your life suffers. If you're doing too little, like you're just shooting the same stuff again and again and again, you've got it down to an art, it's not challenging you, you're going to get bored and do something else. The key is finding some way between too much stress and too much boredom. Finding the golden mean where your expectations and your goals and the things that you've set for yourself are just outside of your current abilities. So you need to reach and grow as a filmmaker and as an artist to achieve them. Not so ridiculous that you're losing sleep and wearing yourself down. There's a great book called Flow by 𝙍𝙍𝙬𝙁 𝙍𝙍𝙬𝙁. He has done a ton of work in this area of like, what's the right amount of challenge and how do we get there? And this is just as true of filmmaking as of anything else. My second tip for stress as a filmmaker is get help. I used to shoot commercials myself, shoot short films myself, and every morning I would get up at 6 a.m. I would load a literal ton of gear into my car. Cameras, lights, stands, grip, all that stuff. I would arrive to set, I would unload it all myself. I would set it up myself, and at 9 a.m. I was ready to shoot, and I was already exhausted. I was so mentally taxed and physically taxed from doing all of this grunt work myself that I couldn't be creative and resourceful in the way that a writer, director, producer, cinematographer needs to be. I learned that for just a couple of $100s a day, you can hire someone to do that work for you, not help you with it, do it for you so that you arrive on set ready to go. It's easier to find photographic assistants than it is to find film assistants. There is a market and there are websites for photographic assistants, and it's essentially the same job. And it doesn't cost you anything. Just build that person's wage into the cost of the job. The client isn't going to say no for an extra $300 or $400 a day. And you are going to be so much more resourceful if you don't kill yourself lifting and carrying all the gear to set. My third tip to avoid burnout is to make connections with other people in the same stage of their careers and the same industry as you, and share your problems. Help them solve their problems. Yes, it can get a little bit funny because you are technically going for some of the same jobs, whether you're a director or producer or cinematographer, but most people want to have that relationship, want to know that they're not the only person dealing with these things. And as a result, you can pretty easily find peers through Facebook or through Discord servers or whatever it is, and find someone to share your problems with, learn from, and teach. A peer, not a mentor, a peer that's going through what you're going through, and you can help each other out, you can lend each other gear. Every problem that you've encountered, someone else has encountered too, and has probably spent time and money finding the solution that they're happy to share. I've done a ton of this stuff on Canon Masterclass. There's a short little ad. If you shoot on the Canon Cinema System, even if you don't, I have almost 30 in-depth tutorials on Canon Masterclass. You can buy them individually, or you can stream the entire site for just $15 a month. Check it out at Canon Masterclass. My next tip to avoiding burnout is to keep creating. Often when we're feeling burnt out, it's not that we're overworked, but we're under-expressing ourselves. This is why I love and still take a ton of photos. I find friends, find models, find actors, just go somewhere, take photos. It is so freeing for a creative professional to just use natural light, put your model by the window, take a couple of snaps, give some direction, and create something beautiful in 100th of a second without having to go through the long process of script, budget, shooting, post. It can just be an hour taking photos with a friend, feeling like you were able to have an idea and express it creatively without all the gear, without all the rigmarole that goes into filmmaking. And you get 90% of that stuff with photography. Just feel like you accomplished something creative without having to go through all of the process of filmmaking. I find that really freeing. Don't feel like you have to know everything about everything in film. No one can know everything about production, cinematography, music, audio. It is just so complex, and the changes have happened so quickly over the last couple of years. Specialize in the area that you find enjoyable, that you like knowing about. Don't go down the internet rabbit hole and trying to work out what some super obscure lens does, or trying to set up some complex RAID network drive. Buy something off the shelf if you need to, even if it costs you more money. Specialize in what you want to specialize in. Don't try and know it all, it will just stress you out. My final tip for avoiding burnout as a filmmaker is to realize that there's no end to this process. You will always have more creative ideas, there will always be more opportunities and clients coming along. You don't ever get to be like, I'm done, I've finished it, I've completed, I've become the filmmaker I want to become. No matter how rich or famous you get, there'll always be another project, there'll always be another challenge, there'll always be another problem. You need to just be comfortable and grateful that there's always something else to do, and that you don't have to finish it and complete it. You don't win at filmmaking. Making films is winning. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.